How are you?
I'm good. Just ready to go back to work. I feel like we've been off the road for about 6 months, and so about to get fired up at the end of this month and start, launching the tour and getting back out there. So excited for that. Trying to finish up an album while we're off, not touring. So kind of wrapping that up. Got some new music coming this year. So that's about it.
What else have you been doing in your time off? Because I know you're never really not working.
Yeah, I mean, right now, kids are all playing sports. So Memphis is in baseball, Navy's in softball. Kendall's playing flag football at her school, and so they're just kind of all over the map. So we've spent a lot of time going to practices and games and doing all that kind of stuff, and all that's about to wrap up here in the next week or two, and get ready for summer.
That phase of life where you're just a chauffeur.
Yeah, essentially a chauffeur, and just trying to figure out how to get everybody where they need to be, and not really a lot of time for me to do anything right now except for be a driver.
Yeah, 1,000%. Well, I missed you when you and John were doing Impress for what is now your 29th number one song, Friends Like That. And I feel like
Yeah,
it's been so cool to really watch you like take John under your wing, sign him on your imprint. You have to be so proud of him with this new album out and everything.
I am. John's a guy we kind of found 4 or 5 years ago, and from the minute I heard the guy sing a note, I was like, "Oh my god, this is so good!" And ended up signing him basically off of one song I heard, a song that he wrote with Kurt and Tully, two of my bandmates, and they were the ones that kind of turned me on to him. And I mean, literally heard one song he wrote and sang, and signed him to a publishing deal, signed him to a record deal. Was like, we got to have this kid. Like, he's so good, and just couldn't wait for people to hear him and to for him to finally get out there, have a hit, and people start to know who he is. And his album Carolina Blue just came out, which is so good. And it's fun for me to watch that happen for a new artist. It's been a long time since I was a new artist, so to watch that happen for somebody else, watch it go from nothing to something, and for him and his family and all the stuff, it's just it's a really cool thing for me to be a part of.
For sure. And I feel like Kurt, Tully, John, like those guys have really found like a magic secret sauce for you in the last couple of years. Like, what is it? John had like 16 songs that he's written for
Yeah,
you. I lost track of how many Kurt and Tully have.
more than John. It's like, but that's been the cool thing. It's like, for whatever reason, you get those guys in a room together with John Edwards, or sometimes I'm in there, or Lydia Vaughn's been one that's come to the table with some really cool stuff, and Neal Thrasher. And we started our publishing company, and that was kind of what it was. It's like, all right, we're going to build this team around basically me and John, and instead of going out and trying to hope everybody write songs that we can use, it's like, let's go in, and everything we write now is either centered for me or for him. And if one of us don't cut it, then it goes elsewhere. But it's been a really good little system that we've kind of created. And I think the last two records have really kind of showcased that. It's been, the double album, the Macon, Georgia record, and then the Desperado album. That was a direct result of, starting that publishing company and really kind of changing gears and how we went about finding songs and all that stuff. And it's been pretty awesome.
That is great. And three of them are three of the four co-writers that are on what will soon be your 30th number one song,
Yeah.
Whiskey Drink. How are you feeling about number 30 here?
I love it. It's a big, I mean, I never thought, I never really played the numbers game a whole lot. It's like I always wanted one. I just wanted a number one. And, you get that one. And then it's like, next thing you know, oh, you got five. And then it's 10, 15, 20. And next thing you know, you're staring 30 in the face. And it's like, I'm just glad people still, care enough to go listen to it and stream it and come to the shows and do all the stuff. And, 30 is a pretty big number. I know Luke Bryan had his 30 number one party last year, and I went and sang one of his songs. And it's a big deal for an artist. And so, I remember getting started, and George Strait had an album out, like 50 number ones. And that seemed like I mean, that was like a unicorn. Like, that's never going to happen. And so here we are, staring 30 in the face. And, it's pretty cool. It just, to me, it means longevity, which is what I always wanted in the business, was just to be able to do this for a long time.
Definitely. Well, how do you have any idea how you plan to celebrate? I know we were just talking about how Luke had his big party last year.
I don't know, but I think he should be there and have to sing one of my songs, is what I think.
I think you should have to too, or like whatever you choose him to sing. I mean, have some fun with it if you're going to have him.
That's even better. I like that even better. Yeah.
Hokey pokey or something silly. What did you think when the guys first sent that song over? Because I'm sure that, they send you a ton of songs. What was it about that one, Whiskey Drink, that you really liked?
I feel like that was one of the first ones that kind of came in. It was, kind of one of the table setters for the album. And, to me, it's like when the chorus kicks in, it's just, it's rock, a little bit rock and roll, and kind of plays like a tempo almost, even though it's sort of a mid. But I thought it was great. And that and a song called Who's Rear View were like the first two that I remember kind of coming in. And then when it got down to it, it was going to be one of those songs was going to be the last single on the record. And ultimately ended up going with Whiskey Drink just because I felt like it was had a little more drive to it and stuff like that. I felt like it was going to, be a better thing for us to play live and those kind of things. So love the song. Again, another one of those songs that came out of our little company and those guys getting in there and just hammering it out. So, I love having that for Kurt and Tully, just have it being, they're so into the writing part of it. And, each time we have one of these number ones, it's like 30 for me, but these guys are kind of piling up the number ones as writers too, which is really cool to see for them.
Right. Just really like special to be able to share that with the guys in the band that have been with you the longest, I'm sure is a great feeling.
Them and me. I tell people all the time, those guys in that band have been my longest relationships in life. Like they've been with me through everything from 1999 to now. And, it's just to be able to celebrate those kind of milestones with guys who've been there, in the trenches with you all the years, and they've been there for the crappy stuff. They've been there for the great stuff. And so to kind of help them, watch them kind of achieving their goals as songwriters and stuff is really cool.
Definitely very special. You mentioned, and then I also have seen you post about being back in the studio. What can you say about the next project? Do you know like what direction you're taking? Like how close to done are you?
Yeah, I think at this point, we record an album or do whatever. I mean, it's, I think we've kind of established our brand now of what that is. You kind of know what you're going to get when we release an album. It's going to be a little edgy. It's going to have some, some traditional type stuff on it. And it's going to have some rock and roll, could have a couple curveballs in there, off the wall type stuff. I know we're going to have at least 2 duets on this record, possibly a third. So, it's been fun. It's been a fun process to get in there, and try and make each album sound like what we do. And obviously the songs are what allows us to do that. So if you don't have the songs, it doesn't matter. And so I feel really good about the songs and things that we've written and the guys have written for this record is really cool. So excited to get it out there. I think the next single will be from the new album, and then not really a timetable on how we're going to drop the record, because anymore, you drop an album and then everybody just consumes it for a month or two. And then they're like, okay, when's the next one coming out? You're like, man, it took me 8 months to make that thing. So, I think this go around, trying to figure out how we drop a project and maybe kind of stagger it out where we don't give them everything right off the bat, just enough to kind of say, here's a little bit, and then here's a little bit more, and then, here's the rest of it kind of thing. So I don't know what that looks like because we've never really done it like that. But that's kind of where my head's at with it right now. But definitely new music coming this year for sure.
That's exciting. It is funny. I feel like there's some people that I'm like, you're putting an album out? You just put one out like not even a year ago. Like the traditional cycle has always been like, 2 years.
A year and a half. Yeah. And so, and 2, it was before it was like 12, 15. I remember us putting 15 songs on an album when nobody else was doing that and being like, man, that's a bunch of songs. Now it's 20, so you got to even find more songs. And so now it's 20 songs they're gobbling up in a couple months and then want 20 more. And you're going, man, it's tough. You spend a year and a half writing all those songs. The problem is a lot of those songs don't really get their day, right? Like you kind of run out of time and they're ready for the next thing. And you kind of leave a lot of cool songs on the table to move to the next project. And that's something that these songs need to have their day. And some of them aren't getting it. And how do we fix that? So I don't know what that looks like yet, but it's going to look different than it has before, I think.
Definitely. I feel like that's a struggle everyone's having. Like there's so much good music out. And I'm like, wait, you're not going to single that song? Like, are you serious? Like,
It's Morgan
I was
Wallen's
going to
fault.
say the exact same. For sure. And then you are going out on the Full Throttle tour. That's going to be like all summer, even into the early fall. What are you most excited about for this?
I love touring. It's why I got in this business to begin with. It wasn't because I loved being in the studio or I loved, writing songs or I loved whatever. It's like I love playing on stage with my guys and playing our songs and going and having fun, traveling the world, seeing those, hanging out with my buddies every day, and that to me is fun. That's what I look forward to about being on the road and fans coming out, see people sing your stuff back to you and just the reaction you get from the crowd. That's why I wanted to do this for a living, and so that's my favorite part. It's still what I look forward to every year. And so, after 6 months, we usually do like 6 months on, 6 months off. And so we're at the end of the 6 months off right now and I'm going crazy. So I'm ready to get back after it.
I'm sure. And you got some cool shows coming up too. I saw you're doing Fenway with Brooks and Dunn. That is going to be, wow, good time.
Yeah. I mean, just some of my musical heroes, those guys, and had a chance to tour with them, open for them on their last rodeo tour that they did, probably back in '09 or something. And it was the last opening slot we did before we started headlining our own shows. And so I just always been a fan of those guys. They've always, been awesome to me, treated my crew really well, and just, kind of been like big brothers a little bit. So I just saw them in Charlotte a couple weeks ago. They went through there playing a show, and I just happened to be there visiting my wife's family, and just came out, jumped on stage with them, played a song or two, and just so I'm looking forward to playing Fenway with them. I think that's a really cool lineup with us and those guys, and something I think fans are going to eat up. So I'm ready for it.
Definitely. We're talking about how you've been on the road, with the same guys, since you got started. And I'm curious, I'm sure it's changed, but do you guys like have any traditions that you've always done before you go on stage? Are there like things in the daily routine that you guys always do together?
I think during the day, a lot of times we all kind of do our own thing. I'll go play golf. They're, maybe working out or whatever everybody's doing. Right. So, and then at night, usually 5 o'clock, we all meet up, go to dinner, eat dinner, together at 5. Everybody goes back, showers, get ready for the show. And then we kind of start hanging out, right? Like usually about 6 o'clock, 6:30, we all start hanging out until 2 in the morning or whatever it's going to be. But, we make sure we eat dinner together every day, kind of talk. And then, a couple hours before the show, we're hanging out, listening to music, maybe talking about, studio stuff or what we, just that kind of thing. And so, and then when the show's done, sometimes we'll jump on a bus and play like video game, like play hockey or something on the bus together. So
I love
it's
that.
basically just like we're a bunch of grown kids is what it essentially is.
Exactly. But like, who wouldn't want to do that? You're talking about how it's your favorite part. Like everybody wants to hang out with their friends.
Yes. Awesome. It's like frat party, but we're just old.
Exactly. And then I was laughing the other day because or was it yesterday? Brittany posted that you guys gave Navy's like little Princess Castle, like a little aid to it. And I was kind of just like cracking up. I was like, it's so funny. You see Jason Aldean on stage and he's like such a rock star. And then like you're in there like pinning up little clouds in this Princess Castle.
Dude, the stuff that she talks me into doing at our house, it's like I feel like she just sees me sitting there being happy, like watching a baseball game or something, and she's just like, "Hey, I need you to do something." And so it's like, "What?" And then I go in, and she's got like whatever she's ordered from Amazon that I got to figure out how to put up. And so I don't know. I bought her something. A squirrel house for Christmas, like where it's got a camera in it and she can watch like squirrels go in and she's into that kind of stuff.
Well, I remember the squirrel picnic table that went viral for you guys.
Yeah. That didn't last long. I think like raccoons were getting on that thing and ended up like breaking it off the tree. So this is like a better system, got a camera in it and she could see them. And so I had one of my carpenters from, my road crew. He actually I sent him a picture and he built this thing. And just, so I got to get that hung for before we go out, get on the road. But that's about it right now.
Too funny. Well, listen, it's great to see you. Congratulations. Happy to see you have another song headed to the top of the chart. And hopefully we'll see you out at a show this summer.
Awesome. Anytime. Thanks, Katie. Good to see you.